Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello my friends, let me introduce myself. My name is Elinda. I'm from English Department class of EA and Kediri. In this section, I would like to tell you about my journal. The title is about an ELF-based syllabus for teaching English pronunciation to native Bengali speaker or NBS. In this journal, taken from Belta Journal, Volume 3, Issue 1, June 2019, by Amin Rahman and Rakib Kauduri, Monash University. Introduction. The topic English as a lingua franca or ELF was of little interest to ELT researchers and teachers as recently as in 1995. And today, about 2 decades later, the situation is quite different with ELF, which is now a hot topic for research. And also, they believe that non-native speaker or NNS would benefit from an understanding of ELF and ELF-based teaching practice in ELT. The many definition of ELF from researcher conclude for Walker 2010 that ELF is a community language. English pronunciation following research pronunciation or RP or General American GA standard are still commonly taught to an NNS. The aim of the current study was to investigate if one could take advantage of thinking LFC models and develop an easy English pronunciation model and syllabus specially targeted to native speakers, NBS, and users for teaching an intelligible English pronunciation in Bangladesh school. Therefore, the purpose of this paper is to raise awareness of ELF. ELF is like offering and having tea. Communicating in ELF with somebody can be compared to offering someone a beverage like tea. It can be served in a fine bone, China, or English without tea set. It can also be served in mug with or without handles of different size and shape, or in disposable cups or glasses. Importantly, like tea, ELF is of sharing between people. Methodology. Our findings are based on the following. 1. The experience of the two authors in teaching ELT and TESOL to undergraduate and postgraduate. 2. Analysis of the audio data available in VOECE or Vienna Oxford International Corpus of English and EACE Asian Corpus of English. And the last analysis of the following three assumptions. Assumption 1. Native of one are familiar with the English pronunciation of different regions within their own countries. In Bangladesh, people from different regions speak different dialects of the Bengali language using different regional allophones, as they all study English throughout their primary and secondary education. When anyone speaks English, irrespective of their regional background, other English speakers of Bangladesh generally have no difficulty in comprehending them. Assumption 2. People from one country find the English pronunciation of their neighboring countries intelligible and acceptable. People from the Indian subcontinent generally understand the English pronunciation of the people of their neighboring countries because of many commonalities. For instance, they may use the strong form of the consonant sounds the and the. Assumption 3. People who read or write and speak English can and do communicate with speakers of other countries in English. Anecdotal evidence from annual ELT and TESOL and other international conferences support this assumption. English speakers from many countries attend this conference, present paper, and communicate with each other in question and answer session. After agreeing with and accepting these three assumptions, NBS English learners can use English as a lingua franca in Bangladesh or ELVP. Discussion. Jenkins 29, one of the pioneers of ELF with a view to simplifying the teaching of English for non-native speakers or NNS of English, carried out extensive empirical research on interaction between NNS. She found that majority or almost 60% of the breakdown in communication in English were due to pronunciation problems rather than grammar, vocabulary, and other causes. Okay. To understand intelligibility and acceptability of ELF pronunciation, it may use the T analogy once again. So you read in this slide and the human musical instruments that humans make speak sounds with the help of their very versatile and powerful musical instrument, the vocal musical system. It is known that a musician first has to get familiar with the different parts of his or her musical instrument that she or he plays and learn about their function before being able to play or perform. The advantage of including all this in the Bangladesh lingua franca or BLFC models in that most English learners in Bangladesh who have gone through secondary school are familiar with the device, although they refer to it by a different names, the human vocal system. Jenkins lingua franca core or LVC models. There are four kinds of LVC models. 1. LVC1 individual consonant sounds. 2. LVC2 clusters. 3. LVC3 vowels, and 4. LVC4 nuclear stress placement. Okay, LVC1 the consonant. Jenkins suggests that all English consonants are 24 in RP should be included in LVC export, and because two phonemes are not present in many languages and are difficult to articulate. And then she also makes some suggestions regarding the pronunciation of p, t, k, and l, r, so that they are intelligible when used in English speech. For ease of understanding, teaching, and learning, they propose that the consonant phoneme be grouped as follows. It can also be used while developing a syllable for teaching pronunciation for NBC. A. The fricative consonant sounds. B. English consonant which needs to be replaced by L1 sounds. C. Other consonant. Problem 1. The fricative consonant sounds NBC cannot always pronounce all the English fricative consonant sounds. And correctly, while pronouncing English words which contain any of these consonant sounds, they often use a Bengali sound instead, which they perceive to be the same as the English sounds. 2. Problem 2. English consonant replaced by other sounds. In some Asian English, when a English consonant phoneme is not present, speakers use another similar sounding English consonant phoneme or an entirely different L1 phoneme. For example, in this country, Arab, p become b, park become bark. And the problem the other consonant in the Bangladesh lingua franca course models, they suggest that the consonant phoneme l or p, the k should be included with simplified pronunciation as described below. A. L. One sound should be used. The dark L is difficult to conceive and not necessary. For example, milk. And B. R. One sound should be used. The alveolar stop for the word tree. Scottish. The uvular number 2. Uvular or red for the word red in RP, and C for p, t, k. Phoneme p, t, k sounds may be used including at word initial position followed by a vowel. Example, with aspiration the pronunciation of the word pet, tat, and cat are supposed to be pat, tap, and cat respectively. And the LVC to consonant clutter. Problem 4. Some Asians cannot pronounce consonant clutter because these are not present in their L1. Number 1. Insertion of a short I or like vowel before or between the two consonants. 2. Deletion of one of the consonants in the cluster. For example, number 1. Pronouncing the word school as school in Bangladesh and as school in Punjab. They are still intelligible. An example two, postman in pronoun as postman or network as network. LVC 3 vowels. Problem 5 vowel quality. Most scholars agree that different speakers use different vowel allophones when they pronounce the same English word. They may even replace the intense or irp vowel phoneme by another phoneme. Scholars agree that as long as the replace is consistent, it is acceptable. This means that non-native English speakers, including NBS, should not be penalized for such articulation of vowel. And problem 6, vowel quantity. Scholars are not so tolerant about the misuse of vowel quantity when, for instance, an S replaces a short vowel phoneme by a long vowel phoneme or vice versa. For the above discussion on vowel quality and quantity, it may be concluded that there is no need to teach NBS English learners new vowel sounds like schwa and other reduced vowel phonemes. And the last LVC for nuclear stress placement. Nuclear stress placement is part of the suprasegmental feature of English pronunciation, which is a difficult concept for NNS and takes a lot of time and effort to learn and master. It can be thought to be the syllable within a word in a group of words in an English sentence when the speaker should put stress to make his or her speech meaningful. Okay, the part result. The PLVC models and a purpose syllabus for ELVP pronunciation. There are 4 components that included in the Bangladesh Lingua Franca Core or BLVC models, which are slightly different from Chinky LVC and have been mixed with the problem faced by Bangladesh English learners. 1. The human musical instrument. 2. Different types of consonant sounds. 3. Consonant clusters. And the last, nuclear stress. 1. The human musical instrument. They all have a very versatile musical instrument given to use as at birth. They have used this technique with teachers and students in rural Bangladesh and observes that this is a more effective method than the repeat after me method to teach the pronunciation of any language. 2. Different types of consonant sounds. Problem 1. The fricative consonant sound. The Bengali language has only 2 fricative consonants and however it doesn't have the English English fricative sounds. And 3 consonant clusters, emphasis would learn to pronounce all English consonant clusters appearing at word initial brain, word medial windy, and word terminal or sleep. The under the section problem 4 and the last nuclear stress, well, component 2 and 3 of PLVC will help envision the segmental feature of English pronunciation. We propose teaching the supernatural segmental feature of English pronunciation using English songs and poetry with the help of our human musical instrument. And the segmental feature of English pronunciation is the individual sounds or phoneme of a language vowel and consonant. And the suprasegmental feature of English pronunciation is aspect of pronunciation that affect more than just one sound segment, such as stress, rhythm, and intonation, the musical aspect of pronunciation. The last conclusion, it was found 7 problems that NBC faced when teaching or learning English pronunciation with both consonant and vowels. To make the task of teaching or learning the English consonant sounds easy, and the categorized into 3 groups: A. The fricative consonant, B. Consonant replaced by other local sounds, and C. Other difficult consonant like and it is to note that they have used this syllabus for teaching English pronunciation to secondary school teachers and students in different regions of rural Bangladesh and found them to be effective. Okay, thank you. Any questions so far?